my name's Vincent. It's nice to meet you. What's your name?
Michael.
Okay, nice to meet you. So the initial purpose of this meeting today is that I'm a social work student and I'm going to be practicing some very beginner skills for social work. Today we're not really looking to solve any problems, we're just looking to discuss it, and sometimes talking through problems can end up helping it anyway, so just because we're not coming to any solutions doesn't mean that we're not going to help you today. So do you have any questions so far? So your role today is that you're pretending to be the client and I'm the social worker. So like I said, we're just going to talk through a problem. We're not going to come to any solutions, we're just going to practice some basic skills. So before we begin, I'm just going to let you know that this is videotaped, and the only people that are seeing this are me and my instructor. So anything you talk about today is very confidential. It will be less than 10 minutes long. So if we approach a sensitive subject that you don't want to talk about, it's completely fine to just be like, hey, I don't want to discuss this topic, let's talk about something else. Totally understandable. So everything we say will be recorded into a transcript, as well as recorded onto my video camera. So right now I'm just going to ask you to sign this consent form. So we're going to read it together just to make sure that you fully understand. So it says, I am aware that this project is for Social Work 201, Social Work Skills Lab, which is the name of the class that I'm in. This course teaches students to develop beginning social work skills with individuals and families. I, which is you, have accepted the invitation to be interviewed by a student, which is me, in this class. What I say in this interview is confidential, and we'll talk about what that means, and will be shared only with the professor of the class and the person who is interviewing me. By signing this paper, I am agreeing to have the interview videotaped under the circumstances described above. So every social worker and social working situation is always 100% confidential, so anything you say to me, I won't share with anyone else. The exceptions to that are anything that has to do with child abuse, neglect. If I feel like you or anyone else is in imminent danger, I am obligated to report that. So it's best to just talk about a subject that is reasonable and has a solution and nothing crazy resulting from trauma or abuse, okay? So you'll just sign and date. Today is the 12th. Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions at all about anything? No, nothing about confidentiality?
Nope.
Nothing? Okay. So, now we'll get to the interview. So, what kind of problems are you having? Any stressors in your life currently? What brings you in today?
Okay, well, I guess the one I came in to discuss was just I have a group project in the class, and trying to coordinate between the group members to determine a meeting time has been a problem I faced this semester.
Really? Is it for just one class or multiple classes that you have groups in?
Just one class.
Just one class. Okay. So what kind of group project do you have to do? Is it like I know some group projects are like writing a paper and some group projects are working on like a physical project. Like what kind of class are you doing this for? And can you just give me more information on the project?
It's for my computer science class. It is basically we're taking a software idea, ours being a Syracuse parking app, which would be like people would choose a parking spot and they would choose to park there at that location. They could reserve that ahead of time.
Right.
And so we have to do a bunch of different things, such as like how would we go about making this actual, without coding it, just how would we go about coding and the steps that would take, and like specifying what has to happen.
Right. So it sounds very advanced, and it seems like there's a lot of collaboration that has to be involved in doing this.
Everyone has to do their fair share for sure.
Right. So can you explain why it's been frustrating? Like what kind of things have made you feel anxious about making appointments with each other?
Well, the biggest issue is just like, we're all juniors and seniors in computer science, so
Right.
and some of them have jobs or internships, and I have my own obligations after a lot of classes, and so just trying to coordinate times where everyone is free has been the biggest issue. Like everyone's always willing to work together, but the issue is just trying to find that time that isn't like a weekend when no one wants to be there, and trying to find time like on a Monday or a Tuesday night where we can all meet up together and have like a good discussion for an hour instead of just 5 minutes.
Right. So it seems like you're a very organized person, very smart person, and this is just very frustrating because all of you have your own things going on, and it's hard to find a time for everyone to come together because no one feels like they want to sacrifice their own obligations. And that must be difficult. Let's see. So basically, the big thing is that you have this huge project that needs to be done, and no one seems to have the free time to get together. So have you gotten together at all?
Yeah, no, we've had meetings, but it's more of a on-the-fly weekly thing. Like, oh hey, I'm free at for this hour. Can we all do it? And like, so it's the issue has been like finding a concrete time when everyone has that hour block that we can just meet together.
Right.
So yeah, we've had meetings, but just trying to be consistent with those meetings is what's been the issue for us now.
Right. So have you tried to find like a set time in the week to get together, or have you tried to do that and it's just not worked out before?
We had one set and it worked, but then one of the guys changed his hours for his job, and so that just led to, again, we had to like redo it, and then other than the weekend, none of us had really had large chunks of free time where someone doesn't have to be in or out, so it's always either 3 out of 4 people in there at any given time, which makes it difficult.
Do you feel that everyone at least is trying their best to get together, or do you feel like there are people in the group that aren't really trying as hard? Because I know certain group dynamics, there's usually those 2 to 3 people that are willing to get together, and then there's those 2 to 3 people that are a little more lazy and wait for the other people to make up their mind. So how's the group dynamic with you?
I think as a whole, it's good in terms of like everyone's willing to. I mean, I do think certain individuals could put a little bit more work in, but that's not like, it's not to the point that's detrimental. It's just that it's a little obvious.
Right.
I'd say as a whole it works out well. It's just conflicting schedules lead to conflicting.
So how does that make you feel?
I mean, I'm understanding of people's plights because I have a lot of obligations of my own, and there are times when I've had to tell them I couldn't make it to that time and we have to do a different time. But sometimes the like aversion to a weekend meeting, I mean, it disappoints me a little bit. But for the most part, I'd say like I try to be understanding with it as much as I can.
So do you get frustrated with it sometimes?
Yeah, I mean,
What
not being able
kinda-
to get work.
Right, of course. So it's that like anxiety of feeling like you're not going to get your project done on time that results in the problem. Right. So is this like your biggest stressor at the time, or are there other things?
Other things might come and go, like if I have an exam or something, but as a semester whole, this has definitely been the biggest stressor so far.
Right.
Just because this project is a large part of the grade.
Yeah. So you seem to be very understanding of your group, which is good. I definitely hang on to that understanding, but I totally understand how it would get frustrating sometimes, because I think we've all been in that situation where we feel like we're pulling the group along and no one wants to get together and everyone is just busy all the time. So yeah, I think that's it. So thank you for your willingness to help me today. I'm going to hand you this questionnaire. So you can just write a sentence or 2 each. I'll write your name at the top. I think there's 7 questions. Yes. So a question or 2 each. As I'm giving you this, what are your overall reactions to the interview? Like, is there anything that you think I can improve on personally, like tips or anything like that? Like, how do you feel? Do you feel like you worked through some stuff that you didn't realize before? What are your initial reactions right now?
Yeah, I mean, verbalizing always helps.
Right. That's what I
Yeah.
said. Like, even
Yeah.
though we didn't come to any concrete solutions, it's good to sometimes just talk it through.
It went well, I think.
Good. Thank you.
The note card's definitely a good idea to have just for talking points and stuff like that.
Right. Okay. So yeah, you can fill that out.